ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हम्म। हम्म। So, yesterday we started the spontaneous devotional service in practice, part one, uh, where uh, Rupa Goswami is telling that devotional service and spontaneous love is vividly expressed and maintained or manifested by the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Devotional service that accords with their devotional service uh, is called Raganuga Bhakti, means the one that qualifies to be real devotional service. It should be only Raganuga Bhakti, or devotional service following in the wake of spontaneous loving service. Up till now, there was no love, so should it be called devotional service? Therefore, the full expression is called loving devotional service. If there is no love and wholeheartedness in serving Krishna, then do you think Krishna is going to pay attention? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 270th verse. So, qualification to perform Vaidhi Bhakti in faith is faith in scripture, and the qualification to perform Raganu Bhakti is greed to attain spontaneous devotional service. Okay. So, unlike faith, which is based on logic and reasoning, greed or covetousness is based on the heart's natural inclination. What is the meaning of covetousness? Greed or covetousness.
Covetousness, having or showing a great desire to possess something belonging to someone else.
Yes. So the greed is equivalent to covetousness, right?
Or in Wikipedia, an insatiable desire for material gain or social value.
Anyway, material desires are never satiated, so there will be always greed involved. Asha pasha shater baddha. Material nature binds them in their greed more. So But this is a liberating state, Greed to attain spontaneous devotional service is a positive greed. So, unlike faith, which is based on logic and reasoning, greed or covetousness is based on heart's natural inclination. Heart wants to love, but the interference of material mind and material greed is not allowing you to love properly. Hearing the all-attractive dealings of the devotees of Vrindavan awakens qualified devotee an inclination to develop such loving moods towards Krishna. So this attraction is no longer dependent on the ruling nature of the scripture. Srila Prabhupada writes, these Raganuga devotees do not follow the regulative principles of devotional service very strictly, but by spontaneous nature, they become attracted to some of the eternal devotees of such as Nanda or Yashoda, and they try to follow in their footsteps spontaneously. This is described in Nectar of Devotion, chapter number 16, text number 125, or page number 125. The idea that persons can advance in Krishna consciousness without strictly following the regulative principles generally perplexes their devotees. At the root of this confusion is a misunderstanding about what Srila Prabhupada means by not strictly following regulative principles. This is a blind imitation. Srila Prabhupada does not mean that spontaneous devotee no longer practice the basic items of devotional service, such as chanting and hearing, or that they neglect or break the rules prohibiting illicit sex or intoxication. What it does mean that for the Raganuga Bhaktas, inspiration to serve and surrender no longer comes from scriptural injunction, vidhi, but from natural attachment to raga. In this sense, these devotees strictly follow their hearts and not the regulative principles. But because they are so spontaneous, drawn to Krishna, they are naturally drawn to continue their practice of the primary limbs of devotion, doing those things that increase their association with Krishna, hearing, chanting, and remembering among the other practices, and avoiding those things that hinder their association with Krishna, sinful activities or indulging in materialistic pursuits. They will refrain from this. Later we will see how Rupa Goswami considers the strict following of the principles, activities of regulative devotion a prerequisite for practicing spontaneous devotion or bhakti. The neglect of the basics like hearing and chanting, basics that nourishes one's attachment for Krishna, disqualifies one from the kind of devotional service regulative or spontaneous. This is what Srila Prabhupada means by not strictly following. The reader may find more on this topic in the following chapter. The rare transition to spontaneous devotion. There is a transition to spontaneous devotion, but it is very rare. Of the many devotees qualified to take up spontaneous devotional service in practice, please listen very carefully. Generally, only a few are inclined to do so before continuing the study of Raganuga Bhakti. This section introduces the mentality of those eligible to take up the practice. Devotees qualified to make transition between regulative and spontaneous devotional service in practice must be at the stage of steadiness, nishtha, and must have given up attachment to things that divert the mind from service. This full surrender to the practice and spreading Krishna consciousness often leaves devotees upon the criticism from mundane moralists and religionists, but devotees on the platform of steadiness have already surpassed this mundane sense of obligation. Their critics, blind to the true way of transcendentalists, accuse devotee of ingratitude towards family, country, and the great men and women who have sacrificed their lives for humanity. Such ingratitude, they say, is tantamount to sin, and sin certainly impedes any person's search for truth. While politely braving such criticism, devotees at the stage of steadiness remain unperturbed, fixed in conviction that originally brought them to Krishna's lotus feet. That souls surrendered to Krishna are free from material obligations and purified of any sin occurred as the consequence of their surrender. This is spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, 41st verse. Because spontaneous devotional service is at the stage of firm fixing oneself, that come hell or high water of criticism, but we will not, be affected. We will not move out, because that is the steadiness, and it should remain unperturbed. In this way, such devotees march resolutely forward, serving the Lord as their desire. Not only are steady devotees free from mundane transgressions, they are also free from accidental sins performed while engaged in devotional service. These devotees have given up all material engagements in order to take full shelter at the Lord Hari's lotus feet, and are thus very dear to him. Seated in everyone's heart, Krishna at once takes away the reactions to sin committed by such surrendered souls. This is the paragraph based on Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, 42nd verse. So therefore, knowingly or unknowingly, a phrase has been always used while performing devotional service as a routine that comes like a spontaneous activity for a daily, as for example, for pujari. There may be so many things that might be happening and he is not aware. Srila Prabhupada says, artificially trying to prevent committing sinful activity, killing living entities unknowingly, because everywhere it is. Jainism would put the baffle on their mouth, so they think the bacteria will be saved, they will not be killed. But everywhere the bacteria is there. Bacteria can be filtered out, and they will, but that is knowingly, but unknowingly, Krishna has ability to forgive, because the person is engaged in spontaneous devotional service. He becomes oblivious of material conditioning. So what's the big deal? Of course, gross sinful activity he should not do, but unseen activities that harm the living entity, artificial, contrivances to prevent killing is not very successful. It's simply a show. living entities are residing even at the water pot level. And just by moving the water pot, you can kill so many. They say even if you light a fire to start cooking for Krishna, the fire can kill so many living entities surrounding, because they are everywhere. We breathe in not pure air, otherwise how could corona can occur? So contaminations are there. So these are the things which are what we call unknowingly done, and Krishna can pardon them because he is always aware. Om ajnana dathva jnana ashubham yanmaya kritam shantum arhasi tat sarvam dasyaneva granamam. Sthiti seva gatir yatra sati vacha bhuyat savratmana Vishnu madiyam tvai chestitam apara sahasrani har nisham kriyat maya. But daso aham isi mamvatva kshamasva madhusudana. Considering I am your servant, please tolerate. Beyond my knowledge, these things are happening. So kshamasva madhusudana. I am able to serve because it's your promise that my devotee will never perish. So, iti sansmrutya pranan samadhyaryamyaham. Remembering Krishna's words, we will be able to withhold our life and loving service of Lord Shri Krishna. So, knowledge of these truths make devotees who are seriously committed to Krishna consciousness indifferent to working opinions and unmoved by urges of their own attachment. Their sights are set on perfection beyond the understanding of worldly people, a perfection rarely achieved even by great souls. Undaunted and confident in the Lord's affectionate shelter, they pray that the distance between themselves and ecstatic devotion will soon vanish. Prapanchikinam bhajanam, prapanchinanam bhajanam atulam dushkaram shanvato me nairyasena jvalati radayam bhakti lesha lashaya lesha lasya vishwadrichim aghahara tava karnya karunyas vachim asa bindu kshitam idam upeti antare hanta saityam. I am too weak and too lazy to do even the smallest devotional service. So when I hear of the peerless and difficult to perform services performed by the great devotees in ancient times, my heart burns with despair. O Lord, O killer of Aghasur, when I hear that the waves of your mercy splashed everyone from the demigod Brahma down to the most insignificant creature, my heart is sprinkled with a cool drop of hope. This is in Stavamala of Rupa Goswami, who did Stavamala. Yes.
Yes,
So
Gurudev.
title prayer in Stavamala is there. So this is the verse that such is the mentality of practicing devotees eligible to move on from regulative to spontaneous practice. Instead of, what you call creating a systematic fear of like smartas, remaining aware of that, but inclination to perform devotional service with all humility at our command is necessary. Otherwise, the smartas sticking to rules and regulations will not perform the spontaneous devotional service. They are averse to that because there is no love generated in taking the risk in the devotional service. So such is the mentality of practicing devotee eligible to move on from regulative to spontaneous practice. By practicing regulative devotional service, devotees gradually purify their hearts of unwanted things and achieve steadiness, a steadiness visible not only in their physical conduct but in their words and mental activities. Although not yet free of the impurities, these devotees master their mind and senses, are no longer hosted to the residual desires of bad habits. Steady devotees diligently study Srimad Bhagavatam and respectfully hear of the Lord's many incarnations, but then when they read of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, they are especially intrigued. They think Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but in Vrindavan, his behavior is charmingly human-like. Simply to hear Srila Prabhupada discourses on this phenomenon, these devotees eagerly read his Krishna book, where they become struck by Krishna's sweetness and charm, by the innocent love of Brajvasis. They repeatedly hear Srila Prabhupada extol the unparalleled loving service of the Brajvasis in passages such as Uddhava was the great friend of Krishna's, the direct student of Brahaspati, very intelligent and highly qualified. Krishna, being very loving friend of Uddhava's, wanted to send him to Vrindavan just to study the highly elevated ecstatic devotional service practice there, to learn from the gopis and the other residents of Vrindavan how to love Krishna to the highest degree. It was Krishna's special favor. This is spoken in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chapter number 46, page number 330. So sometimes such devotees discuss the concept of Vraja Bhakti with their peers and hear about one another's favorite pastimes. At the other times, they study the nectar of devotion to increase their devotional insight. They read Chaitanya Charitamrita with fresh understanding of Lord Chaitanya's teachings and pastimes. While listening to Srila Prabhupada's lectures, they repeatedly hear him summarize the Lord Chaitanya's teachings in a way that gives them the new perspective in Krishna consciousness. Aradyut Bhagavan Vraje Satanayastad Dhamam Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadur Vargin Jakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradaro Naparaha. This is the Brijvasi spirit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is to be worshipped along with his transcendental abode Vrindavan. The most pleasing form of worship for the Lord is that which was performed by the gopis of Vrindavan. Srimad Bhagavatam is posted authority on everything, and pure love of God is the ultimate goal of life for all men. These statements for which we have the highest regard are opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahamanjusha. Chaitanya Mahamanjusha is quoted in the Gaudiya Kantahar, 4th chapter, 41st verse. Kantahar means the decoration on the neck, but decoration of our voice. There are special verses, they have to be remembered, they have to be spoken in appreciation of this highest truth which is expressed in the spontaneous devotional service. That is called Kantahar. Kantha means the neck where the voice is coming. Why do you decorate it with the choicest poetry? Because it glorifies and it pleases Lord Krishna. Mat bhakta jatra gayanti tisthami tatra narada. So that is the function of the kantha. So this is the decoration of the kantha, is the choicest poetry, the verses we should remember. There is no difficulty. Only some inferiority complex can subdue, but you can remember. But a few devotees react differently. They do not remain neutral. Heartfelt desire moves them from when they hear Krishna's pastime, they think, I would also like to love and serve Krishna like Brajavasis. Although weak at first, this desire gains strength in the contact with advanced devotees who explain Krishna consciousness in relation to Braja Bhakti. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Prema Tattva, Sar, Bhava Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Leela Tattva are. Krishna consciousness means understanding the truth of Krishna, and truth of devotional service is the truth of love of Godhead, and the truth of emotion, ecstasy, the truth of transcendental mellows, and the truth of pastimes of the Lord. It is Krishna consciousness. It inclusive everything. It's called Krishna consciousness. This is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 25th chapter, 265th verse. Finally, those steady devotees drawn to Braja Bhakti reveal their mind to their spiritual masters. These devotees are the same servants as before, and they continue to perform the same duties, but with their mood changes. They now feel a genuine desire to achieve the perfection of the Brajavasis, and description of the Brajavasis' service to Krishna dominates their heart and mind. Their spiritual masters are pleased to hear their disciples' interest, because gurus know well the good judgment, sincerity, and advancement of their disciples. Guru and disciples are intimate associates in Srila Prabhupada's service. Still, the spiritual master examines their disciple with questions and arguments in order to establish which disciple have real qualification for spontaneous bhakti. Yes, simply interested, but we have to enter into the activities of spontaneous bhakti and then see whether one is really progressive in the moods of the gopis. When the gurus are satisfied that particular disciples have this qualification, they give them suitable instructions. In other words, even though Vraja Bhakti is spontaneous, no one should enter its practice whimsically. One should always do so under the spiritual master's expert guidance. Yes, at every stage, spiritual master will be there for our internal bhajan. He will oversee. spontaneous devotion. As already mentioned, the residents of Braja are examples or exemplars for devotees making the transition from regulative to spontaneous devotional service in practice. The eternal associates of Sri Krishna in Vrindavan have a unique and intense type of attachment, raga, unknown to the devotees of any of Krishna's expansion. This truth is well known on earth, in heaven, and in Vaikuntha. Such attachment is spontaneous and free from knowledge of Krishna's divinity, and it invokes an irrepressible absorption in Vraja's cowherd prince. So intense is the Vrajavasis' attachment for Krishna that if it permeates and absorbs their being. Service to Krishna done under the sway of this special attachment is known as spontaneous devotional service, Ragatmika Bhakti. What is the difference between spontaneous devotional service and Ragatmika devotee? Raganuga Bhakti and Ragatmika Bhakti. Anuga means you have to follow in the footsteps of our predecessor leaders who are performing such spontaneous activities, and we are attracted by that to learn from them. That is called, until then, it's called Raganuga Bhakti. But now it is something which is furthermore that so intense is the Vraja Bhakti, attachment for Krishna, is that permeates and absorbs their being. Service to Krishna done under the sway of the special attachment is known as spontaneous devotional service. That is Ragatmika Bhakti. So understand these definitions. These are essential definitions one must know. Srila Jiva Goswami defines Ragatmika Bhakti as ardently loving the Lord. The devotees serve him by hearing, chanting, and remembering his glories, serving his feet, offering him obeisances, and completely surrendering to him. This fervent devotional service is called Ragatmika Bhakti. This is given in Bhakti Sandarbha Anuchcheda 310, quoted by Srila Prabhupada in his purport to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 149th verse. In short, the type of devotion that inspires pure devotees to follow the Brajavasis' footstep is called Raganuga Bhakti, and the Bhakti practiced by the Brajavasis themselves is called Ragatmika Bhakti. Means taking up the mood and mission of the Brajavasi in our practice. While following means following the instructions, but of the same nature, if you follow, it becomes Ragatmika. There is a gulf of difference between spontaneous devotional service in perfection, that is called Ragatmika, and spontaneous devotional service in practice, that is Raganuga. This makes more clear. In perfection, the devotee's attachment to Krishna is like a river, the waves of which are the ninefold activities of devotion. Such devotional activities are performed naturally out of mature love. The spontaneous service in practice, devotees cultivate the limbs of devotion, and such as the chanting and hearing as a means to attain pure love, which is the reality, has not yet become fully spontaneous or developed. This is explained that it is based on the text Bhakti Sandarbha 310, beginning with Tasyascha Sadhyanam Raga. This is Jiva Goswami, Bhakti Sandarbha. When a person becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his natural inclination to love is fully absorbed in thought of the Lord. That is called transcendental attachment, and the devotional service according to the attachment is called Ragatmika, or spontaneous devotional service. This is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 272th verse. So, spontaneous devotional service. The following study of spontaneous service in perfection is helpful in understanding spontaneous service in practice, because the later aspires for the former. Ragatmika follows Raganuga. Rupa Goswami defines spontaneous devotional service. Iste swarasiki raga parama vishtasta bhavet tam mai ya bhavet bhakti shastra ragatmikoditaha. When a person becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his natural inclination to love is fully absorbed in thought of the Lord. That is called transcendental attachment, and devotional service according to that attachment is called Ragatmika. Transcendental attachment. Raga means attachment. Swarasiki. Parama vishtata bhavet. Absolute Swarasiki means according to the mood of the Brijvasi, you follow. And Ragatmika, or spontaneous devotional service, is naturally developed that it becomes your second habit. And without, methodically following the Brijavasis, you do it now spontaneously. So this is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So from this verse, it is clear that the primary characteristics of spontaneous service is deep attachment for Krishna, and the marginal characteristic is absorption in thought of him. Devotees of other forms of Krishna certainly have love for God, but because that love is weakened by awareness of Lord's majesty, such devotees' absorption is less intense than that of the Vrajavasis. Wow. In other avatars, Lord's majesty is there. Other than Krishna of Vrindavan, if you love Krishna of Dwarka, there is majesty involved. The devotion Hanumanji feels for Lord Rama is an example of love weakened by reverence. Hanuman is the ideal servant of the Lord, but Lord Ramchandra once embraced him in the mood of friendship. And in the face of such intimacy, Hanuman shrank away from the Lord. Hanuman didn't want to get embraced because he was feeling very lowly. Knowledge of Ram's divinity established Hanuman from reciprocating the Lord's fraternal mood. Only the Brijvasis, unmindful of Krishna's Godhead, they treat the Lord as equal or even as subordinate, unfettered by feeling of awe. The Vrajavasis thus enjoy the unlimited ecstasy of unconditional spontaneous love. Wow, what a comparison. Spontaneous devotional service is of two kinds: amorous attraction, kamarupa, and familial relationship, sambandharupa. Amorous attraction is intense attachment in the mood of a lover. And the familial relationship is attraction in the mood of parent, friend, or servant. Examples of devotees with amorous attraction are Srimati Radharani and her gopi friends such as Lalita and Vishakha. Examples of devotees with familial attraction are Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda as parents, Subal and Sridham as friends, and Raktaka and Patraka are servants. There is no end to the glories of these devotees and their service. To inspire its reader to Vraj Bhakti, Srimad Bhagavatam dedicates its very heart, the first 40 chapters of the 10th canto, to descriptions of the spontaneous devotional of Vraja. I think Srila Prabhupada translated only up to 10th canto and 10 chapters.
14.
14 chapters.
13.
13 chapters.
I think he did the summary of the 14.
Yeah. But it requires the essence to inspire its reader to Vraja Bhakti. Srimad Bhagavatam dedicates its very heart, the first 40 chapters of 10th canto, to the description of spontaneous devotion of Vraja. So varieties of spontaneous devotional service is there. What exactly is the greed, lobha, that qualifies devotees to practice spontaneous devotion? Greed is in the intense natural desire of devotees for service mood of Brajvasis. Although greed may have varying degree of intensity, broadly speaking, it is of two types. One is the very intense eagerness possessed by the devotees at the stage of ecstatic devotion. Devotees whose love has already awakened jatarati. Jatarati. This type of greed is also known as complete. Complete eagerness, samatkantha. This is a nectar of devotion. Utkantha means eager to express. Utkantha. Chapter number 18, page number 138. This chapter describes very vividly the spontaneous devotional service, and we should go slowly. The chapter will take 2 more days to finish. So I would like to stop here. Let's.
Lala Samay already has her hand up. Lala Samay is already there.
Already there.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please,
Right,
my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru
right.
Maharaj, Raganuga Bhakta can become a Ragatmika Bhakta, or it's only for eternal liberated soul only?
Baba, Ragatmika Bhakti always come after liberation. Liberation
can
is
we-
never meant for temporary thing, but one who keeps the status of liberated, what we call eternally liberated. They are the siddhas already perfected, and they perform always Ragatmika Bhakti. Okay, but those who
Yes.
are learning, first they have to follow Anuga, means Raganuga, the Brijvasis. So they follow the instructions and trying to practice to come up to the level of their style. And as for example, a student may follow the teacher in learning the dances, but when they are graduated, they become like Ragatmika bhaktas. They will do without the help of teacher, because that is already there, and their natural inclination is also there. So when we are under tutelage of a Brijvasi, we are Raganugas.
Yes.
And we practice. But when we perfect it and come to that stage, that we will keep on doing it if we so desire, if the greed is more, then we will increase that greed and performance of Ragatmika Bhakti. Because this Brijvasis are eternally liberated people. They cannot be replaced. Gopis cannot be replaced.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So only thing is that we have to not artificially adjust. We adjust according to our perfection.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Bol.
Yeah.
There's a question on the chat from Narayan Damodar Prabhu. It's a long question, you better open it up and read it. On the chat, Narayan Damodar Prabhu has asked a question.
Who is Narayan Damodar Prabhu?
Jagat Anvayas Prabhu.
Eh?
Jagat Anvayas Prabhu.
Oh.
So we need to go there. Where's your cursor? Oh, here it is. Chat. This long question.
Hare Krishna, Dandut Pranam, Gurudev. This is your humble servant Narayan Damodar Das. Maharaj, I have a few questions in context to today's and yesterday's class. Who is a Brijvasi? Rupa Goswami is a Brijvasi. How would you define Rupa Goswami? They were so much absorbed in the mood and mission that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them to excavate the pastimes. So they were following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and on the strength of the holy name, they revealed the real Vrindavan. And what the Brijvasis were practicing at the high standard, they were revealed. Such explanation was not there in Narada Pancharatra and other literature. But Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is pushing out every nook and corner and identify then how a sadhak from Vaidhi Bhakti to spontaneous devotional service reaches. Hello? So, Brijvasi, we follow Rupa Goswami, They are not other local Brijvasis we are supposed to follow. Otherwise, the whole Braja was a jungle. It is their mercy that the glories of Braja was manifested. Their service in writing the scriptures pertaining to the pure devotional service exposed the Vrindavan atmosphere and spread out throughout the world through their writings and guidance and cultivation of resolute, faithfully resolute trust on Lord Shri Krishna's absoluteness. And these 9 processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, even though it has been given in Srimad Bhagavatam, they described in detail because of their insight in development of an ordinary person can also have accessibility. So naturally, this is the highest Brajarasa. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appointed Rupa Goswami as the Acharya of Brajarasa, right? Birth in Brijavasi Mandal qualified one to be called Brijavasi. Well, not necessary. They may be physically staying and physical nature of Brajvasi, but what is the internal nature when Krishna was himself present? Who has that kind of natural affection for Lord Shri Krishna? This Brijvasi may have at least external affinity to Lord Shri Krishna, but some Brijvasis under the influence, say, for example, outer surface, like some part of Rajasthan even. It was part of Braja, the Deeg, but you can see the nature of the Jats there completely violating the nature of a Brajvasi. It is, Brajvasi is not a literature according to time, place, and circumstances. No. We have to think of eternal Braja, Lord Krishna's abode in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. We have to follow such personalities. You can follow Jiva Goswami. He was a Brijvasi. They lived in Braja and served Braja by their renunciation, but they never renounced the understanding and following in practice. Okay, so they are really Brajavasis. While in the Raganuga stage, we learn the various products or protocols of loving devotional service from the spiritual master. Are these protocols weakened in Ragatmika stage? No, they are not necessary. Ragatmika stage is the perfection, while learning protocols systematically, stage-wise, they are the instruction in following a Brijvasi, means taking lessons from him, understanding, and so proper mood of his services can be understood, the spontaneity, okay? So this protocol should be followed only in Raganuga, but then they are not required if one enters into the Ragatmika stage. he is asking, since one of his colleague from Vrindavan and worship Laddu Gopal as their main deity. However, several times he has mentioned that they put the Lord to sleep with them in their bedroom, and after the Balabhoga, without taking bath, as they feel that the Lord is their baby, and that is what has been followed in their family since a long time. Well, we are not followers of such Laddu Gopal worship. And Laddu Gopal worship was given to Vallabhacharya by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said that I do not know Krishna more than Yashodastyananandana. So that feeling may be there, but it is not our territory that we can think. You may inquire, whom does he follow? But most of the time it becomes a sahajiya situation instead of ragatmika situation.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj, for answering the questions.
Hare Krishna.
Because I didn't want to commit any kind of aparadh.
That's okay, but we can inquire. They must have the photo of their guru, right?
Yes, Maharaj. They are coming from a family where they are primarily from the Pushti Marg Sampradaya.
Yes.
But there, some of the family members have taken Gaudiya Sampradaya Diksha. Some of them have taken Ramanandi Diksha. Some of them follow Vallabhacharya.
That's okay. But what we understand through the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Pushti is approved. Pushti Marg is approved by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu up to Balya Lila only. Okay?
Yes,
But they
Maharaj.
also have accessibility, and they glorify their eruditeship in understanding the Pauganda Lila as well as the Kishore Lila. They don't have any access. We go by the standard of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he gave us the 5 cardinal principles, Aradhyastanaya Brajendra Nandanastathamam Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadur Varga Jakalpita. So Radha Krishna is there. That is the highest. And yet we have to follow the discipline starting from awe and reverence. Where is awe and reverence to the Laddu Gopal? Their main deity in Pushti Marg is Navnit Priya, Laddu Gopal, not Srinath Jiva. Because according to the scripture, they are supposed to worship Laddu Gopal. They do not even give Srinathji deity to anybody to worship because they borrowed from us. Madhavendra Puri is the one. Then Madhavendra Puri entrusted the service of Srinathji to Vallabhacharya because he was his instructing spiritual master. They call it Madhavendra Yati. So when the Turkish soldiers would come to destroy the temples, deities would be brought in the Mathura town or Vrindavan and hide them. So after Vallabhacharya, when the deity were residing in Mathura at Vittalesh's home. That is the second son of Vallabhacharya. He was very much attached to Srinathji and he was worshipping very nicely. Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami would go to have darshan, and they were very much pleased by the service of Vittalesh and told him that please carry on the worship from now. All right. Why do they have to tell them? Do you think it belonged to them? No. Belonging is coming down from our discipline also. So that is a 7-year-old form. That is Pauganda Avastha. But because it is coming in that, and Rab Bhogan Seva is there, it became more appreciative. But they have Navnit Priya and other deities also being worshipped. Because this worship has been coming down from hen to, from Vittalesh. That is the history. But anyway, from 10th canto, the verse, Bhakti Parishanubhava Viraktis Tasya Trik Ekakalaha Prapadyamanasya Kshuta what is that? Tushti Pushti Apayoho Anughasam. Just like a hungry man, when he puts a morsel of food in his mouth, he gets 3 kinds of effect. What is that? The body starts getting nourishment. There is eating satisfaction is there. And he gets satisfaction. So similarly, when we perform this unfailing process, Rajvidya Rajaguhyam process, we also get into all these 3 effects naturally. But at the same time, our service attitude will be growing more than just feeding the baby. There are so many activities. Pushti means feeding the baby and you are also fed. But sometimes it is becoming restricted, other times it is getting liberal. People make adjustment to even in the Pushti Marg. So Kali Yuga effects is there. Everyone will have that kind of, even in ISKCON, we will have effect of Kali.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so that's okay. But the idea is that because we are not in that, they're following. So naturally, only they will be able to satisfy you. The 4th is the types of Brijvasi as per Navavraj Mahima by Shivram Maharaj. Yeah, there are types of Brijvasis. Probably one of the type is like those who are born there. But which can be more preferable for our association? That is the, I think, topic. I have not read the Braj Mahima, Nava Braj Mahima.
Gurudev, Asit Prabhu has written that there are four
Yes.
kinds of.
Yeah, by birth, by residence, by visiting even regularly, one can imbibe the mood and thus residing in Vraja by mind, by practicing the glories of Vraja all over the world. Good. Srila Prabhupada says that the fourth type is the topmost, who carries Vraja within their heart and establishes Vraja all over the world by establishing temples and by preaching. That's what we are trying to follow. Prabhupada carried Vrindavan Vraja all over the world. He introduced to the places the importance of Vraja. Nobody did that job before. And you can see crores of people are coming to visit the most sanctified place on the earth, even though it is a shadow place in Kali Yuga. But the shadow becomes perfectly purified by following in Srila Rupa Goswami's, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Good.
Sodadam Prabhu has been waiting.
Haribol.
Sodadam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Gurudev. Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Srila
Gurudev.
Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances.
Srila
Gurudev.
Prabhupada.
Gurudev, what I feel, the Ragatmika Bhakti and partly Raganuga Bhakti is the experience, more of experience of a devotee.
It becomes a second nature. By practicing in the footsteps of, say, Rupa Goswami, it becomes second nature. But one who
Thank you.
preaches the glories of Brajabhumi all over the world is
Thank you, Gurudev.
like that Srila Prabhupada. We follow him. Everybody follows Brajavasi.
Gurudev, I also feel that what Srila Prabhupada proposes is a comprehensive Raganuga or Ragatmika Bhakti rather than one sect like Pusti or other sects. Ours is
Naturally. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, approved Subodhini up to the Pushti means portion, just like caretake of Lord Krishna's baby form. But then there are every chances that because living in this material world, to imitate, it becomes farce.
Gurudev and the Chaitanya Charitamrtam Antya Leela, I think it is the peak of the Ragatmika Bhakti. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited at the end.
Definitely, the Ragatmika Bhakti can take you to total viraha and its ecstasies. Ecstasies and separation. Deep ecstasies are observed in separation only. Therefore, we'll understand that part in Vilap Kusumbanjali, not now.
Thank you very much, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Akhanda Prabhu.
Khandadi.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Gosha Prabhu.
Guru Maharaj, while reading this example of Lord Ramchandra and Hanuman, where Hanuman shrunk when Lord Ramchandra tried to embrace him in the mood of friendship. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, we start with the divinity of the Lord, that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then we, over the years, we develop affection for the Lord, for Lord Krishna in that way. But the real shift happens due to pure chanting, like how that mood of divinity moves from. That's my question.
Yeah, those activities of following the regulated principle should be continued.
Yeah.
You know, they are not supposed to be given up at any time. You know, and whichever mood that one may follow, even all 9 steps or one of them, bringing you to the climax of spontaneous devotional service. You follow all. Why only one?
Right. Right.
But those who have followed one, they become perfected, and we got 9 examples, right?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Haribol.
Vijay Alice in the kitchen.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Prabhupada.
Gurudev, when you mentioned that Ragatmika Bhakti is performed by Siddha Bhaktas. So my doubt was that is Ragatmika Bhakti only performed in Goloka Vrindavan, or can it be performed in this material world as well?
What do you think of Rupa Goswami?
He was a Nitya Siddha Gurudev.
Yeah, but at the same time, he became an example that we are following.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What about Srila Prabhupada?
He's also Nitya Siddha Gurudev.
Everybody is Nitya Siddha. Everybody is Nitya Siddha, but only time is interfering.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Gurudev, I had a humble
Yeah.
request. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask, but we've been reading that for us to be able to reach the qualification for Raganuga Bhakti is to cultivate Nishtha first. So I was a desire came in my heart to hear more about other shastras as well. Like in the morning, we're having these spontaneous classes. If ever you have time, Guru Maharaj and other Guru Bhai, Guru Bahan agree to it, I would love if we could have an evening class from you about shastras like Jaiva Dharma, Bhajan Rahasya, Bhakti Tattva Vivek, and the Sat Sandarbhas to perfect our bhajan, Gurudev, first of all.
You can read, there is no restriction. But what
Yes,
I'm
Gurudev.
saying, yeah, here, you know, we have to look into the seriousness of our bhajan and get inspired to enter into the what is perfection of the bhajan. All right.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So unless and until we make a tangible progress in this life, we may not be able to continue in the next life. We may have to start wherever we are living.
Yes.
The process.
When we read about sadhana, sorry.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, so many devotees are there, And here we are getting so many references. To tell you frankly, I haven't read Jiva Goswami's books. Sat Sandarbha, no. I never studied that. Even though it is most
Yes,
essential, somehow or another, I do not have any private reading. Baba, I have not finished Srimad Bhagavatam. If
yeah,
if,
literally.
if I would have read only up to fourth canto, and that was in Gujarati, I was teaching, and systematically we reached up to when Dhruv Maharaj is stepping on the head of death personified and climbed on the aeroplane. Up to that point only I read continuously. Of course, I give classes, but at the same time, whatever Srila Prabhupada has spoken, I will try to speak about that only.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
And Srila Prabhupada's, promise was that in the beginning when the Bhagavatam was being published a book by book, and that also not in sequence, and Prabhupada guaranteed that any of this book can not only liberate you, but put you into pure devotional service. So, as it came, I, read and I tried to understand and speak about.
Thank you, Gurudev. Is it okay if we get Association of Devotees to study these books and we read?
I might have to take about 6 lives to finish all the Gaudiya literatures. I mean, our contemporary, not the previous.
That would require unlimited lifetimes to study all the scriptures, Gurudev, of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas.
Why don't you become a member of Bhaktivedanta Research Institute in Calcutta? They are, getting so many manuscripts. Learn Bengali and you will have a treasure of immenseness of Gaudiya literatures.
So, Gurudev, by your blessings, I will
You
try.
have long life. Do it.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. All by your blessings, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Sorry,
Once
Prabhupada.
I was inquiring from Banaswami Maharaj. He said there are he said at least over 1,200 books by our acharyas. And he said, I've done only like 100. He said. There's,
Yeah.
he said this. And I also asked him once, would he consider doing the Puranas, like the Padma Purana and the ones which we get lots of quotes and things. He said,
Yes,
each one
but
of
at the
them,
same
that is
time,
like,
Prabhupada concentrated only on Srimad Bhagavatam, not other Puranas. Yeah. There are 6 Puranas which are denoted to Lord Vishnu. But the Puranas are mostly in the mode of goodness as far as Vishnu Tattva is concerned. We are not in Tamasic Purana or Rajasic Puranas. But what is the resolute conclusion? Why do we have to enter into so many nitty-gritty stuff? If you want to read it, you may be knowing the story. But what is leading us to the transcendental nature? Only Srimad Bhagavatam, because it is written in transcendental mode. There is absence of the 3 modes of material nature. Even Sattva Guna is not there. It's all transcendental nature. Anyway,
Braj Raj was here.
huh?
Braj Raj,
Braja, Prabhu.
or maybe he just joined, maybe that's why his name popped up. Sorry, Gomez.
Mm.
Bhavan is just asking at the book.
Mm.
Hare Krishna Guru Madandat Pranams.
Bola.
Many of us in ISKCON, we have Ladu Gopal. And so I've been, including myself,
You are
I got,
eating everyday laddu, huh? Oh,
I got
glory,
Ladu Gopal
Ladu.
in 41 years ago, so I didn't know any better or anything. And he still is there, and you named him Damodar Gopal, so it's there.
Yeah,
He's
but
there.
that's okay. Actually, the Balya Lila is coming in Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's being also explained in all transcendental mellows, because Krishna does not give up his absoluteness in any age. It remains right from his appearance. He exhibited it, that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Right.
But this bhava pushti, that has been given, but at the same time, it is only up to Vatsalya bhava.
Yes.
Then that is not the sum total of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Right.
Madhurya, then Swakiya, then Parakiya. These bhavas are very deep. What is the end result? Who wins, Krishna or gopis? Gopi wins. So
Right.
Krishna is giving us opportunity that do not get lost. Just become the perfect winner by following in the footsteps of gopis. But we can't imitate. We have to understand so many things are there which has contaminated. If these things are not described, probably Kali can interfere and can corrupt our process also.
Yes.
So follow in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami and the predecessors Acharya who made their base in Vrindavan. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami. Everybody is a Brijvasi. Even though I came to stay in Braja, made my headquarters Braja, I am Shudo Brijvasi. Right? A kind of Brijvasi.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.